Hey guys, my name is Kate. In today's video we're going to be talking about the infamous sweater curse. So if you didn't know, the sweater curse is a belief held by many knitters and crocheters that if you create a sweater for a significant other, you're inevitably going to break up. The only way to get around this curse is if you're married to the person. In today's video, I'm going to tell you how I broke the sweater curse and made a sweater for my boyfriend, and we're still together now. Okay, so here's the sweater I made for my boyfriend. I chose to do the Ingrid Sweater by Petite knit, and it was a super fun pattern. What I liked about this pattern was that it has sections of different textures, and so while it looks really complicated, at one time you're only knitting one section. So at one point you're just doing ribbing, you're just doing double seed stitch, or you're doing these fun cable-like designs. So it gives the look of a really advanced, complicated sweater without being too hard. So this was my first real sweater project. I had done some smaller garments before, but I really wanted to go big. I wanted to go a little bit complicated. I didn't want to do a plain stocking knit sweater, and that's why this pattern seemed like the perfect fit. I was quite nervous about the sleeve decreases. I had heard from other Ravelry projects that the sleeves weren't well charted and that the pattern doesn't describe the decreases very well. So I went in very apprehensive about it. But in the end, once you're actually knitting the sleeve, looking at the chart provided, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. And I'll insert a clip of the decreases because I know when I was first starting this project, I was looking for any close-ups of the sleeve decreases. So I had a little bit of trouble with the gauge swatch. The pattern itself calls for DK weight, but I used worsted, and even using worsted, I had to go up a needle size. So for this pattern, I would be weary of using a light DK, because you would get a very airy fabric if you met gauge with it, and I think worsted would even work better. I will say, I probably wear this more than my boyfriend does. I know, it's not bright and obnoxious, but I do love it. It is so cozy and squishy, and on me it's nice and oversized. I love it. But every so often, he will wear it. Yeah. So for this sweater, I used Blue Sky Fibers Woolstok worsted in the color Driftwood. And as you can see, it is so squishy and airy and soft. It's not soft like merino, but it's definitely like I could have this up close to my neck and be fine. My boyfriend does say it's a little itchy on the arms. So if you're a wimp like my boyfriend, it may be a little itchy. Sorry, bud. But I love it. Working with this was great. It's super springy, so the actual process of knitting with it is a blast. So now that I've had this sweater, or now that my boyfriend has had this sweater for a couple months now, I gave this to him for Christmas. It's gotten quite a bit of wear, so I've gotten to really put the yarn to the test. And it has pilled quite a lot, which is unfortunate, but it's kind of what you get for using such a airy, fluffy yarn. To me, it's still worth it. It's just on the sleeves, there's definitely some intense pilling, but I don't mind too much. So for the sweater, I wanted to add a little extra nice touch, so I decided to embroider my boyfriend's name inside the collar, which I feel like just adds a little special touch. And especially I couldn't hide this sweater from my boyfriend while I was making it, since I had to be knitting it all the time, and I wanted him to try it on as we went, so to make sure it fit him. This was kind of my little surprise before I gifted it to him. So, highly recommend. It's just some ribbon with some embroidery floss on top. Normally when I'm knitting for myself, I like to cut it close with the amount of yarn I use. I like to get as little as possible. I'm often ending up cropping everything because I run out of yarn. But since this was a gift knit, I made sure I bought plenty extra. And so in the end I had a couple skeins left over, and I decided I was going to make something for myself so that I could match. I decided to make the Best Vest by James N. Watts, and here it is. Because I can't do plain beige sweaters, I added a little pop of color along the armholes and the neckline, and this makes it way more me. I love the fit of this sweater. It's super comfy, it's a little oversized, and I wear it almost every other day when I need just a little extra warmth. How I avoided the sweater curse. So many of you may be asking, how did I do it? How am I still in a relationship after making a sweater for my boyfriend? Why haven't we broken up? Well, I considered writing up a document, getting him to swear that he couldn't break up with me after I made the sweater, or while I was making the sweater, but that seemed a little overboard. So instead I just got him to pinky promise me he wouldn't break up with me. And so far, it still stands. We're still together 6 months later. So I think I'm doing pretty good. My other suggestion is to talk with your partner about if they even want a sweater, what pattern would they like, what kind of fit would they want, the color. Maybe if I made him a bright pink sweater, he wouldn't want to be with me. So yeah, talk to them, let them be a part of the process. Make sure they're a keeper, because that's the other side of the sweater curse. Sometimes you're making the sweater and you realize the other person doesn't deserve all your hard work. They're not worth the trouble, and you'll break up with them. So do some thinking about your relationship before you start and decide whether that person's really worth all the effort of a sweater. But I recommend the risk. I love seeing my boyfriend in the sweater I made him, and I love stealing it myself. So yeah, thanks for watching. Till next time. Bye!
Kate, we need to talk.